Something about that nighttime look that just hits
Like
different.
my style?
And
Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any
definitely
future videos.
picks up different too when you're receiving that input. I feel like speech is something that's the most interesting in terms of its, flexibility. We see so many different, communication styles, and not to mention multiplied by how many languages there are. You can just imagine the nearly infinite possibilities that there are out in the world for different types of speech patterns that you could pick up on. And of course, not to mention those other factors, of course, meaning dialect, personal diction, slang usage, etc., you know, intonation, among the others. Those are just a handful. But I had this idea, and now when I have an idea, I pretty much just want to hop on here because I don't want to lose too much if I can help it. If I have the energy and, motivation, I try to just make it happen because I think I'm gonna be grateful about this one day. And I also have a feeling that, at least a couple of people can hear it and, have a good listen. And what's the idea? It's that, you know, oftentimes when we speak, there's a likely core amount, a base amount of the content that we spew that is received by any given person. And if I can kind of characterize this, breakdown, I want to say maybe about 30%. Let's say you talk for a minute. For the average person, I would say they pick up about 30 to 50% of what you say in terms of the substance. Maybe they get the gist, but in terms of the actual substance of what you're saying, in varying levels of depth, they probably will only pick up about 30%. And there's so many reasons for that, and the video is not exactly to explore why that is. It's more so to explore the importance of speech itself. And so, yeah, oftentimes you might get discouraged if you're out and, you feel like you aren't being understood or you aren't being received at all. You're not even given opportunities to share or to spread your message that you believe in. And it's a natural feeling, of course, supernatural, and there shouldn't be any guilt associated with that because everybody's voice is unique and does deserve to be heard. It just seems that with the way life is, sometimes we don't have as many opportunities to share. And maybe there's a beauty in that, right? Because if you aren't constantly able to speak, at least to others, then when you are able, pretty much everything you say is going to be special because it's so rare that you get to share your voice. So long as you don't just explode, because, that is also a special experience, but maybe not pleasant on the other side. And of course, we don't want to complain necessarily if we can help it. We don't want to just dump. Those are things that I'm not kind of in favor of. What I'm trying to say is, sharing a message that comes from within, I think, involves just speaking. And even if there's nobody there to receive it, you must speak, even if only for yourself. Because the act of doing that is pure liberation, in the sense that you are freeing those ideas from your mind and putting them out there And it's important to do that, not just for kind of this relief that you'll feel ultimately, but for the sake of putting out, who you are into the world, and I do believe we deserve that opportunity, every one of us, because we're human and we are creators. We don't just exist. We always look for ways that we can improve, ways that we can better something, ways that we can acquire something. And that's essentially what it means to be an artist, Minimalism isn't exactly in our DNA, Maybe it is from a survival standpoint, but if we talk about the fulfillment of our beings, towards the top of the hierarchy of needs, this is the opposite of minimalism. And I don't mean in a material sense. I really mean in, kind of that metaphysical or, spiritual or just more mystical side, where we actually do prefer, that fullness, to be surrounded by what we love and people that we love and those situations that make us feel that deep connection to life, And projecting our voice out there makes us alive in a lot of ways and really substantiates our existence in those areas that we like, And of course, there's a beauty in silence. You don't always have to speak. But I do believe strongly that you should try to find opportunities to share. And even if those opportunities are not immediately available, you should just try to speak just for you, just to speak to a version of you that might not exist yet. Maybe you are trying to transform into something. You're working towards something, and that voice that you project is actually kind of a guiding light to that future version of you who might be utilizing that as a vehicle to, continue forward. So that is why you must speak. Trust. It's not so bleak. But if you take a peek at the words betweenst, I think you'll find something in your own voice. But, like I say, always, it's your choice. And nobody else can decide to make that except for you. I had to decide that too. Peace.